Let me just jump into this. A trilogy, or even just a duology. A good developing series of any kind is what the Eternals needed to be universally successful in my opinion. The Eternals is critically known as one of the worst MCU movies made for numerous reasons. Now don't get me wrong, Chloe Zhao and her team did an amazing job with the cinematography, visuals, and the designs of the characters, but to me, like many other people, the problem lies in the story and mainly how much stuff is crammed into this team origin story. After watching this movie on Disney+, I can confidently say that personally, I did enjoy this movie, but the only thing that took me out of it was the idea of too much being involved. I understand with this movie being the first of its series, they need to explore the background of each Eternal and why they're important and why we should care about them. But that's the problem. This is the first. In this movie, the main events and the twists, like the deaths and the betrayals, it all feels like that of a sequel to already well-written and likable established characters. You know, people say the main problem with the entire DC movie series is that it was pretty much started off with a team movie and then decided to explore the origins and the solo stories of each character from the team. I'm not saying that Icarus, Cersei, Kingo, and the rest of the Eternals should have had their own titles, but I just feel like for the story the movie was trying to pull off, it needed to have multiple movies or even episodes of some kind of series rather than one single movie needing to explore both their past and present. The movie starts off with this log of text like a Star Wars movie, giving explanation to the Eternals and where they're supposedly from. I feel like this is the first bad move. Why not show all of this to us in depth rather than cramming it into text and expecting us to fully understand? Throughout the movie, we're given flashbacks of when the Eternals first came to Earth. In fact, the movie literally opens up with them fighting off deviants far into the past of human civilization, and it keeps revisiting their old group efforts in an attempt to get you to understand how far they go back as a group and why you should care about them. But to me, and many other people, this does not work. I strongly feel that if this were to be a movie series, the whole first movie should have been revolved around these flashbacks and even the text in the beginning, allowing for more fleshed out personalities for the characters and giving the audience a much stronger connection to them, giving them a reason to want to care. The first movie could have had the same opening. Them arriving on Earth, fighting deviants. Maybe there could have been some celestial interaction leading up to this introduction of the Eternals, but after that it would have just been the straight Eternal versus Deviant throughout many years concept that we are shown and told about. There could have been conflict, including the mad weary that Thena had and giving the movie mystery, and even teasing the fact that they had forgotten memories for the next movie, and even could have involved Ajax's death, taking away both an easy healer role and giving the leader role to Cersei, like how it did in the actual Eternals movie. This would then continue the interesting deviant evolution thing the movie had going for it with Crow, through Ajax's death, give mystery as to why Icarus would not have been chosen as leader and could have explored Cersei's path to learning how to lead. And the whole idea that the Eternals were there for a secret purpose could have been teased in the post-credits, which would have set up the sequel. The sequel being the movie that we got, just without the flashback. This could have given the characters so much more depth, and if it was done right, it would have made the people connect with them so much more, making their present-day positions much more interesting and entertaining to watch, since we would have legitimate comparison from their lives before, and why they view humanity the way that they each individually do. The sequel in my eyes would just end up being the present-day sections of the movie that we actually got, maybe able to involve deleted scenes that were cut for time, such as Sprite explaining to Kit Harington's character that the skulls in the museum were actually that of deviants rather than the animals that they were listed as.
Deviants. You see this right here? This was a deviant's head.
Well, actually, it's the head of a smiling.
Through this, Crow would not have been such a wasted character. The Deviants could have been so much more of a threat and a bigger player in the Eternals story, and a connection through the characters really could have added to Icarus's betrayal that we got in the movie, especially since that was meant to be a big surprise that pretty much none of us felt any impact for, since we didn't have any type of connection to Icarus and the Eternals.